my father was so sweet. He's like, "Oh, baby, I'm going to come see you live." And he'd show up and I'd be dancing to Judas Priest in a thong on a stage, and he'd have a freaking heart attack. And I would go, "Daddy, it's art. It's performance art. It's the performance art of the future."
So in a way, you love your father because he cared enough about you that he wasn't saying it because he hated you or whatever. He just didn't have your vision to see that maybe dancing burlesque was a good thing, right?
I think, honestly, I think my dad sees still and saw a lot of himself in me. My dad was,
A musician?
he was having sex with girls under the boardwalk in New Jersey, going to see Bruce play, So I think he saw himself in me and got scared.
Was your dad your major influence in that? Did he play you records? Because whenever I talked to recording artists, there was tons of music in our house. And, would your dad sit there and play classic rock for you all the time?
All the time, every single night. It was sort of a ritual before and after dinner. He'd play Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, and I used to just go, "Daddy, why is there money sounds in that song?" And he'd say, "Well, Pink Floyd wrote a song called Money," and then he'd explain it to me.
And how long before you start to play the piano yourself? How old were you?
I was 4.
4 years old?
Yeah.
Did you take piano lessons?
No, not in the beginning. And then my mom and dad, they weren't,
What do you mean you didn't take piano? I mean, at 4 you would sit there and bang on the piano, and yet it made sense to you?
Well, it made probably no sense, but my mom, thought it was really sweet. And, we had an upright piano in the house, and of all the toys that we had laying around, I used to always just sort of kneel on the floor and bang on the keys.
You weren't a video game girl or any of that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah, I played Nintendo.
You did?
Well, actually, it was Atari at the time.
But were you obsessed with the piano as a kid?
Yeah, and I actually used to, like Jerry Lee Lewis, used to stand on the piano, and I used to pretend to play, but I didn't, it didn't really sound very good.
And did you beg your parents for lessons?
I didn't. At first, my mom just got me lessons, and actually my first piano teacher was a stripper.
Do you know how to read music?
A stripper?
Yeah, I could read music.
So when you compose a song, do you write it out with musical notes?
I can. It depends on what we're working on. If I'm arranging, violin or anything like string or orchestrations that need to be transposed and things like that, I'll do that. Yeah.
Do you know how to do all that?
Yeah, I went to music.
So you went to major music lessons. You went to music school.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I also just had kind of a knack for it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned first by ear at the piano, and then I started to take lessons from different kinds of teachers. One, like I said, she was a stripper at Scores.
Yeah, your mom just got a stripper to do piano
My
lessons.
mom didn't know she was a stripper.
She confided in you and said, "Hey, I'm a stripper part-time"?
My dad told me later.
And so your father must sort of feel somewhat responsible for your career because he sat there with you and played you Queen, which was where you got the name Gaga and all that stuff. So he probably feels good. But then when you get into going out and being outrageous yourself and taking your clothes off and stuff, he freaks out and says, "I want nothing to do with this."
Not anymore.
Right. Well,
No.
yeah, now he knows. So what are you doing with all this money you're making? If you don't care about money,
do you have a secret life somewhere where you do have all this stuff, but you don't let anybody know?
No.
You're not going to buy a house?
I have the Monster Ball was really expensive, and the next show will be expensive, and I will pay for it.
Okay, the Monster Ball brought in about $116 million. Do I have that right? Is that the right figure?
I actually have no clue how much money it made.
Right, I have it written down somewhere. Because my point is, Joe Cocker went bankrupt from touring live. Because
That's crazy, though.
I did too, actually, the first time around. The first Monster Ball in America, which was the theater tour, that show was a theater tour, and I wanted to go all the way to Australia, and I wanted to bring everything with me, and I actually was $3 million in debt.
Wow.
Does your manager sit you down and say, "Look, Gaga"?
Yes, he's in the back room. He's probably laughing right now watching this.
He ain't laughing.
Oh, he is laughing. He said, "You will have no money," and I said, "Just keep me on the road, and it'll come back."
Does he call you Gaga or does he call you Stephanie, your manager? Do the close people?
Everybody calls me Gaga.
Really?
Everybody.
Not your boyfriend, though. He's allowed to call you Stephanie.
What boyfriend?
The Jean-Luc dude.
Jean-Luc?
Jean-Luc.
Who's Jean-Luc?
I don't know. What's his name? Oh, Jean-Luc was that restaurant guy.
It's hard to find a boyfriend, that doesn't mind a good tuck.
It is going to be hard for you to find a boyfriend in the sense that I mean, who the hell are you going to trust to really love you and care for you at this point?
Or
like,
actually to get you.
Yeah. And who's going to be able to get you, really? Because you're so, fucking famous now.
Well, I like guys with long hair who know a lot about rock and roll.
Hey.
That's it.
That's it, huh?
That's all you want, but what do you need? Like that guy, does he really understand your essence and, your creativity and what you need to do in life?
It's just my first love is music.
Mm-hmm. Have you not gotten laid in like months?
No, I got laid last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a boyfriend.
Sorry,
Don't
I
believe
sound like
her.
a whore, but I guess I just walked right into that one.
Hey, listen, why not get laid? I mean, you should.
Well.
So you do have a boyfriend.
Listen.
Why, well, you speak about everything. Why would you be uptight about that?
I'm not uptight. Do I look uptight?
No.
The last thing you are is
I'm thinking, you know what I'm obsessing on? Whether or not I got a lap dance from your piano teacher.
Yeah, no.
I'm thinking
That's
about
right, you were at Scores all the time.
Yeah, I used to go to Scores all the time. Yeah.
She was fabulous. I used to ask her, I used to say, why do you have such long nails?
For a
Because you
piano
play
teacher.
piano, and you tell me that when I play piano, my nails should be very short so I can have the proper position. And she'd say, someday you'll understand why my nails are long. Now do that, Debussy, again.
Did you, like when you were 4 years old, did you start writing music right away? Did you have songs in your head?
Yeah, actually, I tried to copy Pink Floyd.
Right.
I wrote a song called Money.
That's a ripoff, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
They should sue me immediately.
What was the song? Do you remember it?
No, I just notated it on, my mother had bought me Mickey Mouse staff paper.
Uh-huh.
So I notated it, with the real notes. And it was so cute because it was in the key of G. So it was an F sharp, and it was really sweet.
At 4 years old, what do you think? What is your thought on Money? Was it that Money was bad or Money
No,
was...
I just was confused as to why a rock and roll band would put the sound of a cash register in a song.
You were obsessed with that.
I was like, that's not rock and roll, Daddy. Billy Joel would never do that. And then he explained to me that Pink Floyd changed the way that rock and roll was forever.
Was it hard for you to decide in your career what type of music you'd play? If you were like kind of raised on like hard rock and roll and Pink Floyd and stuff like that, did you at some point became a pop artist and pop music and like a lot of dance music?
Yeah.
But was there a time you said, no way I'm going to do that? I'm going to just be one of these rock guys, like, I'm going to be like Pink Floyd, or I'm going to be like Billy Joel.
Well, no, because I think that all those influences, they just sort of gave birth to me in a way, and the artist that I've become is just who I was always destined to be. I, moved downtown when I was 19, and there was a huge sort of singer-songwriter, rock, indie scene. And to be honest, I just didn't want to be another one of the chicks in the pack. I wanted to, for myself, revolutionize what was underground music in New York. So I made pop music.
Were you depressed early on? Because you were signed to a record label. I guess a record came out. You were signed to someone for like 3 or 4 months. I don't know who the hell it was.
Def Jam.
Def Jam. And when you signed with them, you probably said to yourself, oh my God, it's finally coming true. This is my big break. I'll break through. I'm on Def Jam. It's a great label. Everyone gets me. And then is it mind-blowing to you when the record doesn't hit? Like, are you suicidal over that?
I didn't even get a chance to meet with the owner of the company,
Who was the owner of the company?
L.A. Reid.
L.A. Reid.
I mean, I met him a couple times, but, and I've got no hard feelings. I'm where I belong, and ultimately you should be with a label that understands who you are and what you do.
Did you think it was over when that whole deal didn't work out?
Oh, yeah. I was going to keep going anyway, but, more of the concern is, how do you make your daddy proud, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How do you make an honest woman of yourself for your family? And I was more concerned with my parents not feeling like I was, leaving a legacy for our family. And my parents, they didn't come from money, and I didn't come from money. They were both really hardworking, both in, the internet business and communications. They both were the first to go to college.
Were you the embarrassment of the family in the sense that, like, oh my God, she's pursuing this dream. It's never going to happen. I'm sure your parents were worried out of their
No, not
mind.
an embarrassment at all. I think it was more just confusing because I was really, really smart in school. And I think that, theater and academia in the theater sense was what they saw for my future. And I just started doing a lot of drugs and moved downtown and started burlesque dancing.
That could scare a parent.
If
Yeah,
you had
absolutely.
But if you had